back to my kitchen. I'm Brian, and today we are making spaghetti, but not just any spaghetti. We're making more of an oil-based spaghetti. So I got this recipe from a friend of mine who, when we were over at their house for dinner, couldn't decide what they wanted to make, so they said, let's just figure out what we got in the fridge and let's just make something out of that. So hence, this is the recipe from my friend Naomi, and we're going to make it right now. And I've added a few things that she did not add into hers. She just didn't happen to have these things at the time, but I happen to, so let's just get started. What we're going to do is we're going to get our cast iron skillet up to a medium heat, and while that's going, hopefully you have chopped up all your vegetables here. So we've got, I don't know, about half a cup or so of finely chopped onion. I've also got these grape tomatoes that I split in half. There is no measurements for this stuff. I just kind of grab as many as I want. And I grabbed a few cloves of garlic that I'm going to put through my garlic press here. And of course we've also got some fresh basil from my garden and some fresh parsley. I didn't really have much parsley left, so I'm going to have to use a little bit of dry parsley as well. But I will show you how to chop up basil, because it's a lot easier than you think it is. If you just lay all the leaves inside of each other like that, and then you roll them like so, and then you just chop like this. Ah, Gordon Ramsay would be proud, let me tell you. So that's how you chop up your basil right there, nice and easy. Same kind of goes with the parsley. What you want to do is just kind of, as best as you can, kind of roll it up together so it kind of stays together like this. Get your fingers out of the way, of course. Doesn't always work great, but bring it together and just chop up into smaller pieces like so. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just got to be done. That's all. And what you don't want to see is you don't want to see green staining on your cutting board, because that just means you're bruising the leaf, and you don't want to bruise it. You want that flavor and everything to stay in the leaf. So you got to make sure that you have a really sharp knife before you do this. That way you don't bruise anything. So my skillet's getting hot. We're going to add my onion and my oil, and we're also going to get this water boiling over here. So I've got this pot filled with water. I'm going to grab a bunch of salt, because it's important to me that you actually make your pasta taste good as well. So you got to heavily salt this water, and you don't have to be too sparing with it, but don't throw too much in there. But make it like it would taste like it's from the ocean. Make it salty water. So everything seems to be hot right now, so we're going to go over to our pan, and I'm going to add my oil. And this is extra virgin olive oil. And you can see how my pan is smoking right now. That's kind of what I like to see, is that it's smoking a little bit. And I add my, I don't measure, you know, just kind of add whatever you feel like. But I don't want my oil to burn or anything, so I add it in right at the last minute. And then I dump in my onions like that. So we're going to make these, cook these down so they're a little more translucent. You don't want them to burn or anything like that. But even if they get a little brown, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. Just going to add more flavor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our garlic press. This is the garlic press. And we're going to put in our 3 cloves of garlic. Now if you're planning on entertaining that night, you may not want to do garlic, just because garlic is going to knock everybody over the more you use it. And can you use that garlic that's already pre-chopped up and stuff like that? Yeah, you can, but I find that fresh garlic tastes way better. You get a lot more flavor out of it. And let's just give her a press, shall we? There we go. Yeah. Put that all in there. Let's grab another clove. Dump that like so. And another 1, 2, 3 like that. And then we'll throw in another clove, whatever I got left over here. Just like that, and oh yeah. Okay. So I'm going to mix that around a little. Again, try not to burn any of your food while you're doing this. You kind of got to work quickly. That's why I like to have everything pre-set up like this so nothing burns. And you're not scrambling around trying to make things work. It's working already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in, actually, you know what? I'm going to toss in my tomatoes first. Just like that. And with these tomatoes, you don't want to cook them right down. You just want to cook them down enough so that they still have that fresh flavor to them. But they're not so mushy and everything that you're making like a sauce or anything out of it. You just want them to be kind of fresh tasting. My water's boiling. I'm going to grab my spaghetti now. I don't know. That looks like enough. It's whatever I had left. So I'm going to let that go into my heavily salted water. And I'll let that cook down. My tomatoes, my onions, my oil, everything's cooking in here, my garlic. Sometimes I like to put a little bit of salt and pepper on these things just to draw out some of the water from the onions and whatnot. And it just gives a little bit of seasoning. Don't put too much. You don't want it to be crazy. Throw in a little bit of pepper. Like that. Maybe we'll throw in those chili flakes. Again, I'm not measuring a ton of stuff here. I'm just kind of throwing it in as I like it. As I make this all the time, and I know what it'll taste like. We're going to grab some of my herbs here. So I've got my basil. We're just going to toss that in here like so. And what I'm going to do with the parsley is I'm actually going to leave the parsley until last because I want to use that fresh to sprinkle on top of my pasta, so it just gives it that much more fresh kind of taste there. And again, I don't want this stuff to burn either, so I'm going to turn down my heat a little bit to like, medium low. That way it doesn't burn everything. It just kind of keeps it cooking but not overcooked. You know what I mean? I'm going to throw in a little bit of this parsley here too because I don't have enough fresh parsley. There we go. So with the herbs and stuff, my wife and I created our own little herb garden and vegetable garden this year. And I'll tell you, getting the basil and the parsley and stuff from there has been awesome. There's just so much flavor. You don't got to worry about pesticides or anything like that. The only thing we got to worry about is the dog eating our cucumbers, which for some reason she seems to like. I don't understand it myself, but the dog loves cucumbers. What can I say? And we're growing peppers in the back too. We had a bunch of these grape tomatoes as well, which have been awesome. And so if I can encourage you guys to just grow your own vegetables, it's easy. You just got to make sure you water them every day. And they're in a good spot where they get some good sun. So, that's what we've been doing. And then we wait a few minutes till my pasta's done. Just like that. So the pasta's done. And I know it's done because I've tasted it a couple times. And, when you're making pasta, I always like to make sure that it's al dente and not mushy. There's nothing worse than mushy pasta. It's disgusting. And this is a cast iron pot, so I'm going to grab gloves because that's going to burn my hands off. Gigantic gloves. We're going to come over here and we're going to pour this in to the sink. So another thing, do not wash the pasta right now. It's got all that wonderful salt flavor in there from the water. You don't want to wash off any of the starches or anything like that. You want the sauce to stick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil into the pan here. Maybe a couple more tablespoons. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my pasta here. I'm going to dump it in like that. Now I'm going to grab my tongs and just toss it. like this. Get all those wonderful tomatoes and everything in there. Toss this spaghetti around. Get all that wonderful flavor. Okay, and then you serve it. You're gonna grab a plate. This. Try not to splatter it everywhere like I am, like a slob. Don't hire me at a restaurant. Here we go. Perfect. Now we're going to grab some of these wonderful tomatoes. Throw them on top. Just like so. Grab some of these onions too. Okay. Let's clean up the plate a little bit here so we can take pictures of it. Make it look all pretty. Okay, now we take that remaining parsley that we had and just sprinkle it on top. Maybe a little bit around the plate here. Impress your friends. And that's it. That's my lunch for today. I'm about to go to work. It's about 11:30 and let's get the heck out of here. But first I gotta try it because that's just my privilege because I'm the one who cooked it, so I get to try it naturally. Yes, I use a spoon because this is the way you're supposed to do it. So I'm going to grab a little tomato here, grab a little bit of this. See what the spoon's for? Helps you twirl your spaghetti so you don't look like an amateur, you don't look like a slob. It's very good this way. Let's try it. Now that is what I'm talking about. It's delicious. And what you could do, add a little, something stuck in my teeth, piece of basil I guess. Add a little bit of parsley, and then add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to this and it's even better. Maybe crack some pepper over that. Very good. So, thanks again for coming by. I hope you learned a new meal today, something that's easy. You've probably got all the ingredients laying around your house. And if you like what you saw here, make sure you hit the like button. Helps me out a lot. I answer every single comment that you leave below. And if you want to see more stuff like this or more stuff to do with my Vitamix machine here, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. Until next time, I'm Brian. See you later.